Hello everybody, welcome back to the second part of my talking about how to beat hard thing in game and then talking about game in general. This is part 2 of this series. The first one was Five Nights at Candy's 2020 mode. This one is about Kingdom Rush Origins. Now, right here, I'm playing probably one of the hardest levels in the game, 3-star. On veteran mode. I'm doing this on veteran mode, and I'm trying to get a perfect score with less than 2 lives lost. Now for my setup, there isn't a lot to say. You can see it on the screen, but I can go and explain some things. So the archers being on the right. So the thing with the archers being on the right is that a lot of spiders come from that side, and spiders have a very high resistance to magic damage or whatever. And of course archers don't do that damage, so you want to create a focus of just that kind of physical damage over there so you can actually kind of kill the spiders, because if you put a wizard over there in the early game, it's a waste. Later there are more different kinds of enemies and you want to put one over there, but not currently. The reason I put 2 wizards on the other side is because a lot of tough enemies kind of come through that area. That like crystal path becomes a real enemy path later in the game. Now we can also see here the flying green dudes. They duplicate. They're another part you really have to focus on, and another part why I focused a lot of towers on the left side is because you got to get rid of those guys immediately. And like they're very dangerous because like if there's a lot of them, suddenly you can go from 20 health to just like dead. But the way I set it up, the gloomies aren't really going to overwhelm, and my hero actually has an aerial damage like attack that they use. And my hero also gives me their own kind of special move. You can see the tornado in the bottom left corner. That's very good with dealing with gloomies. It's part of the reason I'm using the hero for this level. See, right up there, top left corner. Yeah, and that will just eliminate the gloomies. Same with the lightning bolt, but I mean the lightning bolt eliminates everything. So, you know, it's a very important tool against those guys. Now on the right, we just see one of those purple spiders come through, and those guys are very dangerous. Those are what I call high priority enemies, and I lightning bolt them for a reason. That's because they're very dangerous. What they do is they immobilize troops for a short second. Yeah, see? They just did it there. They turned that guy into like a cocoon, a web cocoon, you know? And that'll just immobilize them for 5 seconds. So they just get past troops, and they let other things get by too, which is very dangerous. And you can't really let that, like, immobilize you. Because if it does, you get screwed, and then you lose more than 3 life, and then no 3-star. So those guys are very necessary to deal with. You really got to focus one of your power-ups on it in the bottom left corner. I mean, definitely one to focus on if you're ever playing this. Since there are so many, I guess I'll take the time to talk about the red caps, the little guys with scythes. They're not too bad, but they do have some things to them that make them kind of annoying. I mean, they have very low health, so they're not hard to deal with towers. But the thing is that they're like vampires. They steal life from your dudes by like doing like a red scythe. See, there are a few doing it right now. But that'll heal them up, and that can very much be a problem. Luckily, you can kill them pretty early if you set it up right. So, they're not too bad, but they are something to worry about. They do come up. So another thing that I just clicked on are the dragons. And they are very important for a few reasons. And one of those reasons will come up later, and I'll talk about it. But basically, they freeze enemies for a few seconds. And that can be really crucial when trying to like just deal with this level in general, since you're getting a lot of people from a lot of different sides. And slowing them down is very important. And coming in right now, we have one of the most dangerous enemies ever made in this entire franchise, probably. And those are the Bandersnatches, and they are some tough sons of bitches, and they are the reason that you gotta prioritize the dragon so much. Because Bandersnatches, they're tough, they deal a lot of damage, but they also have this area attack move. So they roll fast, so they don't slow down, they go speedy, which is like way different than any other really tough enemy. And they also have an area attack move where they like shoot spikes everywhere, and they just do high damage, so they're very hard to deal with. Luckily on this level you can loop them with the dragons, and that'll just keep them frozen in place for long enough that they just, they just die, they can't do anything. But I mean, the combination between high damage, an area attack move that just kills everything holding it back, a very fast rolling move, they are probably one of the most dangerous enemies there are, and you really gotta like really focus on them when they come onto the battlefield. So it's very much a thing to keep in mind. One way to combat it is one of the wild mages, since they're high DPS. If you can just stall them for a while, that'll just kill them. Plus, the wild magus has a insta-kill move that you do also want to prioritize that will just insta-kill the Bandersnatch if you're lucky enough. Another thing about the wild maguses is that they're wonderful at dealing with gloomies, since its insta-kill move also creates like an area of damage attack. Like, it explodes the enemy and it does damage to stuff around it, and that's really crucial to dealing with gloomies, or just like look how many there are. And also it just attacks really fast, so it's just going to deal with them without actually needing area of attack. So like, and wild magus are like the all-star. You never want to get the other one. Well, actually sometimes the other one's pretty good too, but I always just go with the wild magus because it's just so fucking good. I don't think anything really significant happens for a bit, so I'll take this time to talk about what I think of this game. Kingdom Rush Origins is it's right up there with Frontiers. I mean, between it and Frontiers, it's really a hard choice of which one's the favorite, because they're both really wonderful games. This one did a lot of new mechanics compared to the first two, and that was really cool. In the first two, the towers were like the same, but in this one they changed everything up. They even changed like the power-ups, so that was really interesting. So that's one of the reasons I really like this game, and it's really fun. It's a really good game, and I definitely recommend you buy it. It's like, what, $15 on Steam, and you get like all the heroes, like all the viable content for free. So it's definitely worth the buy if you're considering it. And if you aren't considering it, start considering it. It's a great game. So during that talk about Origins, we can see the Bandersnatch came down, and there's their area attack move. But it coming from the right is very dangerous, since you can't choke them as easily as you can when they come down the left side, since the dragons on the left side are closer to the exit. You can still do it. Like, I still have like a setup on the right side you can see with the archer, the barracks, and the wizard, but it's not upgraded yet. So the Bandersnatchers are still a very real threat when coming down that side. It's something to keep track of if you're trying to 3-star this level. So just keep that in mind. Also, the Twilight Avengers, I might as well talk about them. They are some annoying fuckers. Like, it feels like they have like infinite health. Like, you can never kill them. But they are killable. It just takes a second, but you do gotta focus on them. They're like deceptively really annoying enemies. Alright, so this is when shit gets really serious. I mean, this level was hard before, but this is the point where like a lot of my runs fucking failed, because now we have 2 exits that we have to go with. And that's the reason I built that barracks on the right side in the first place, because I knew this was coming. But anyway, we have another route where enemies come from. So we have more enemies, and we have another place to guard. Which, if you play your hand right, is fine. It's just, like, you really gotta, like, pay attention, because things coming from both sides is a lot to pay attention to. Especially, like, it doesn't seem like lots, and, like, there's not, like, a whole lot you do. You just kind of build towers. But, like, in this, suddenly it's like, oh, I gotta be active. I gotta be on your toes. And it's definitely the reason this level is one of the fucking hardest, just because of all the changing things.
I bend all elements. Honor to serve.
There's our good friend the Bandersnatches again, so luckily we're more prepared, but I think in this round I think there's at least 2 and they come from both sides, which can be troublesome, especially when the fucking dragon thing in the lake freezes your building so they can't do shit. But I mean, that only lasts a while, and if you hold it back, it shouldn't be too much of a problem, but it's definitely like something to worry about. See, it happens on the left side too. Luckily, we have the Wild Magus and the red-haired dudes who are just fucking invincible. Which is why I put them down, because they're really good at holding back Bandersnatches. And now the Bandersnatches are just getting freeze-looped, and actually there's fucking 3 Bandersnatches on this round. Holy shit. At this point in the stage, you're well-equipped enough to deal with that, though. Since, see, they're just getting frozen over and over. So it's not super hard. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's still, you know, they're still Bandersnatches. They're still, like, as tough as I said they were, so, you know, you gotta really consider them. And again, I speak too soon. There's actually 4 Bandersnatches on Wave 12. And one of them almost gets me, you'll see in a second, so, I guess watch out for Wave 12. So, but, you know, like I said, you're well equipped to deal with it. I mean, the dragons, they just fucking handle everything. They're kind of OP once you get them fully upgraded. They're your one saving grace on this level. But you really gotta invest in them, because they're like, if you don't have them, the Bandersnatches are just gonna sweep through. Like, it's bonkers. Speaking of really fucking annoying enemies, I didn't actually talk about these guys yet, but the Satyr Hoplites, the guys with, like, the shields, they are deceptively hard, just like the Twilight Avengers, where they're like, they don't look that difficult, but like, if you leave them alone for a bit, they're just gonna summon hundreds of those, like, little satyr dudes, and that's just gonna fuck you over. Like, they like, suddenly there's, like, just hundreds of them, and, like, a lightning bolt can kill them pretty easily, or, like, get rid of their hordes, but, like, if you don't prepare, they're just gonna overwhelm you, and, like, if they're combined with other troops, if they're combined with Bandersnatches, you're fucked 3 ways from Sunday, so, like, just, like, be on lookout for them, and they're coming from the left, too.
I bend all elements.
Swords ready!
So as we approach the final stage has, like, I think 6 Bandersnatches in it, and it has Satyr Hoplites, so that kind of combination I was mentioning earlier this is when you're gonna have to deal with it. Luckily at this stage in the game, you have enough stuff to deal with it, just because you've built up your things, and I mean that's just gonna be enough, honestly, to do it. It's not actually the worst, but it is still the final stage, and there is still 6 Bandersnatches, so it's not the easiest shit in the world. Something notable about Bandersnatches is they actually give you a lot of money when they die. So like during the stage, you just get tons and tons of funds, and I forgot about that for a little bit, so just like don't forget about that.
Onward! Swords ready! Incoming!
And that is how you 3-star this annoying ass level known as Crystal Lake. So thanks everyone for watching. But yeah, that'll be it.